guys, Josh Hoppy out here in Singapore, and as always, thank you so much for joining me on the Night Owl podcast. You guys, it's middle of the night as usual, and I am having a ball recording because I've done a couple of them today, and I feel pretty good about it. But you know what matters most? The fact that I have the ability to do all of this stuff. Like, I have a recording studio on my phone, basically. Right? Yes, I use my voice recorder now. I don't use Facebook Live audio like I used to anymore. But yeah, I have the capability of recording on my phone. That includes audio and video and editing pictures. I can post anywhere on any of my social media platforms from my phone itself. I am like a walking computer here. I am able to connect with all of the world. I'm able to listen into people and their conversations from all over the world, discussions, interviews, talk shows, podcasts, short films lately. I've been looking at a lot of short films, and then just consuming the sheer amount of content that I'm able to consume from my phone is just amazing. So I find myself very motivated a lot lately. I feel good about this goal of getting to 1,000 episodes, and it's not easy. I know I set a ridiculous goal for myself, and as much of a long shot as it is, it's up to me to actually control that and put in the work that I need to as often as I can just to make sure that I get there. Like, it's not enough to tell the world, hey, I'm going to do this. I need to actually show up and do it. Now, some people may think that I was a little bit insane to tell everybody what the goal was ahead of time, that I should have like quietly done it and then announced to the world. But I also see people that, don't believe that they can do it until they say it to the public, until they put it out in public and they feel like, I've said it now and they're going to hold me accountable. People are going to continue to ask me, hey, how close are you? How many more do you have to go? That it's almost like an out of sight, out of mind way of setting goals. And I kind of agree with that. For me, I kind of feel like, all right, well, I put it out there and now I'm going to look like a damn fool if I have to reschedule it or change, what my word was originally. So I feel good about this. I'm excited, and I've been enjoying recording lately. Like I said, recorded a couple today, and on this one, I really want to talk about momentum because I don't think I realized what momentum would mean in a small business until I stopped showing up sometimes. There was a period of time in 2018, just after my grandmother turned 100, I stopped putting up podcast episodes, and it was because I was kind of heartbroken. I had a friend of mine that betrayed me, and I had to figure out how to manage all those emotions. And rather than get on and spew about how angry I was, I wanted to wait until I'd kind of sorted it out for myself and then go back in retrospect and kind of give you the 2020 on that. And by 2020, I don't mean this year. I mean clear vision, looking back, you can see it for all that it was rather than what you thought it was while you were caught up in the mess in the first place. So I thought that was a great way to do things. But little did I know, the less that I showed up, the less people started listening to me. So back then in 2018, I was still doing Facebook Live audio, and people would come on while I was talking, while I was recording the podcast, and I was able to interact with them. And when I stopped, I lost the few people that would come on live with me. And that made me sad a little bit. And it also added into that cycle of, hey, I have no feedback. Why should I be doing this? Why should I continue trying to be consistent? Because, I lost the few people that I had in the first place. But now I know that momentum really does matter. Now, again, this year, it didn't happen with the podcast, but instead it happened on Instagram. And it was a matter of trying to find my stride, trying to figure out what my style was. How was I going to, put up my imagery, the captions? What was I writing about? What was it that was, really impactful this year? And so much happened with the circuit breaker, with the Black Lives Matter, with all of the political stuff that was going on with the presidential elections. Just tons with COVID lockdowns and, phase 1 to 2 to 3 now, just a lot going on. And I wasn't sure how to handle all of it. And on top of that, I was having my own battles within my home because the landscape changed in my house. I had a situation where my uncle had left for a while because he was working in the dormitories with the foreign workers and trying to keep them safe. And he had put his health at risk in order to be there and make sure they were okay. And suddenly I found myself home by myself with baby girl, which is not a bad thing, but you go from having people in the house to not having people in the house. It's an adjustment. And then later on in the year, earlier this month, to be honest, I had my mom come back and then my uncle came back as well. And so suddenly I went from having all the space to not having much space again, having to take into consideration other people's schedules and eating habits and preferences and timings and bathrooms and like all of that. and it was another set of adjustments. So I took all of that in stride, I think, and I could have handled it better, obviously, but I struggled and I fell off a little bit with my Instagram posts. And even then, it was like I lost the excitement and the passion to post the way that I used to. And as much as I love my feed, I started experimenting a little bit. And I went back to Canva. Canva I used for all of my digital downloads. And until this year, I was using WordSwag for a while because it was easy and convenient. But now I wanted to do more sophisticated things. I was trying to be a little bit more up to date and more relevant as far as what the posts are looking like these days on social media. And so I went back to Canva because, I mean, it's easy to use. It's been amazing. I love playing around on Canva. And so I tried, but that isn't to say that I didn't lose a lot of momentum. I didn't have the kind of responses that I used to have. People used to look forward to my posts and write into me. There used to be a lot more comments back in the day, and now it's not as much. And I'm trying really hard to keep it all professional content, not so much of my personal life, not so much of my acting career, not so much of my fitness journey, but I find that it's hard not to fall into the cycles of giving the audience what they're used to getting rather than telling them what's important at the moment, telling them what I'm learning at the moment so I can kind of curate their feed a little bit. So the momentum really, really does matter, especially when it comes to engaging audiences in social media. And as much as I know about it, sometimes my mood takes over and I don't do as much as I could. So with that regard, right, all I can do is start with day one all over again, and make sure that I try to be as consistent as possible and make sure that I write from my heart, make sure the messaging is something that can be easily digested, easily relatable. And right now I'm working on content that is fun to share or relevant to share because the post image itself has enough of a message where people would understand what the hell I was talking about. Like up till now, people share my content, but it's just a very vibrant image with one word on it. They would have to read the post in order to get the gist. Whereas the content that I tend to share in my stories is a whole message in the post image itself, and then if they want clarification, they can go in and read the post, the caption. So tons to consider, lots of changes. Hasn't been very comfortable, but I'm working through it. But I'm realizing more and more that this momentum thing is very, very important. Like this journey to 1,000 means that I have to have the momentum of recording at least once every day. I need to make it part of my routine every day to make sure that there's time to do this, that I, have built my schedule in such a way that if I need to take a break real quick, I can. And if I need to suddenly disrupt everything that I'm doing online and go record a podcast episode, that I can, because it's just that important. I need it to be right when inspiration strikes. I need it to be free-flowing enough where I can just get on here and talk to my heart's content and really give you the skinny on what it is that I've discovered for myself or rediscovered or unlearned, so that you guys know that it's possible for you as well. I don't know what you guys are struggling with. Sometimes you write into me and let me know, and sometimes you don't, and that's cool. But even then, I need to let you know, hey, I'm still here. I'm still offering services. I'm still offering products. And the more I show up, the more I speak about my business, the more people understand what it is that I'm doing. I realize that if I'm not concise about what it is that I do and how I do it, that people are still going to be vague and undecided about whether I'm actually capable of helping or not, no matter how good the content is. So a lot of things go into being consistent. A lot of information and strategy goes into creating momentum and keeping it. And honestly, creating is no better or worse than maintaining, because both take up a sense of energy, both take up a lot of conscientious intention. So with that being said, I would love to know what it is that you do, what strategy works best for you to create momentum when you've lost it, and then also to maintain momentum once you've got it. So let me know in the comments below, and I would love to sift through and see what else I could maybe implement on my end. But in the meantime, you guys, if you're running a business online, momentum is key. To get the engagement of your followers is really difficult, especially with the algorithms constantly changing. And now, if people don't like and share and comment within a certain amount of time, they kind of drop off the rotation on your feed, and that affects you as well, right? So if people aren't seeing you as often as they used to because they're not interacting with your posts, that means you have to work that much harder to get that momentum back, to get the potential clients to come see your page, to visit your website, to shop on Instagram if you got the shopping clicky thing available there. So I love you guys. I hope this helped, and I look forward to reading your comments. Bye.